Hello, good evening. My name is Bita Sadanandan, and today is the 6th of April 2026, and the time is 6:33 p.m. Area of body we would be maintaining health of by the Nirbeeja Yoga style is the region of the hips. And the region of hips in the evening, after an interesting day at work, doing different kinds of activities, and and now when the sun is in different stages of setting, at least in my part of the globe, which is in South India, Bengaluru, it is a good, nice opportunity to pay attention to the physiology of our body, anatomy, physiology of our body, while we are on we are just moving from the day shift to the night shift, the shift in light between day and night. And our physiology would take a different turn in the night shift, in the night light shift, or the shift to the night light. And this twilight zone is when it's an interesting time to then see the best of both worlds and how our physiology is responding to the best of both worlds at this time, twilight. So that's the morning twilight, and now it's evening twilight. So that's the two times we do these lives. I've been doing these lives. Now, I invite you to take a seat on a chair that allows for your feet to touch the ground such that you can place your feet flat on the ground. That allows for your sitting surface to take the support of a chair. So it becomes easier to pay attention to just your physiology and anatomy without the entire weight of your body being borne by your legs, but instead you can pay attention to your sitting surface. If the entire weight of your body is borne by your legs, it becomes a little more difficult to pay attention to your body physiology and anatomy, because your attention to some extent is on your feet so that you're maintaining balance. It's like we are like stick figures walking on two sticks. Yeah. So a lot of attention so that we're not falling. So attention is on the leg. Also, though we have learned to walk since childhood, humans are relatively new in the animal kingdom. Yeah. Relatively new. Our evolution is relatively new. So we are still not as much used to walking on 2 feet, which is why, given the moment we sit or you kind of bend towards the forward. Yeah. If you have a phone, then you're bending towards it. Um, unless you are a little more aware of your posture, when it becomes easier for you to keep your shoulder up and not slouch onto some other surface. And you know the benefit of keeping your frame up. You're not like a slug. You're going, yeah. But sometimes we are a little too stiff in keeping our posture upright, that we don't even take the support of available surfaces, such that our muscles can relax. So there are two kinds of people. Some are so slouched and cannot keep their frame up because they were born like flabby babies. Yeah, didn't get the support enough to maintain the firmness of their body. And some have born so stiff, they were crying and on the top of their nerves and all the time active, that because they just couldn't get the care enough to relax. So they continue to live like that. So we have stiff people or we have flabby people. So if your muscles are a little too tight, you may have been amongst the stiff babies, yeah, or a little hyper. And then there's the hypo babies who are a little flabby, all the time a little, yeah, given any moment, they'll take the support of anything available, yeah. And to stand up on their own bones, they just didn't have the support as they were growing up to become a little more self-reliant. No, for their system, that's muscles and bones to get a little more firmer. So they always are in some way needing the support of something. They're a little flabby. Yeah. Hypo. And then there is a balanced equation between hyper and hypo. So Nirbeeja Yoga is a method by which we can bring the balance between these two kinds, extroverted or introverted, hyper or hypo. Yeah. Yeah, having a little internal bodily experience versus external. So a fine balance, you know. They say "Unnila ashanam enjata alagi kalarki porthu." Yeah. So either it's on the trainers, you know, it's like in Kalaripayattu they say either you jump on the teacher's chest or you're falling right out of the arena. Yeah, nothing in between. So here we are learning to find that in between zone. So we're having just enough, not hyper or hypo. Yeah. So the region of the hips. The region of the hips is about the region where you are sitting and your thighs are at a 90-degree angle at your hips, at your upper body. That is those who have legs and are sitting on a chair with your feet being able to touch the ground, which means you have feet to touch the ground. Sorry to say this, but then we are different shapes and sizes of human beings. An alive human being has the main frame plus or minus limbs. So if you're having limbs, you're among those people who have limbs. There are people who don't have limbs, but still have the main frame and are alive human beings. So basic alive human unit includes the mainframe and limbs. It includes the mainframe, and then you have limbs. Now, having said that, if you're amongst those people who think to be alive, you only need the mainframe, are you doing the job of a human being and being a humane being such that you're supporting yourself being alive, people around you being alive with their units? If they have limbs, you continue to support them having limbs. Yeah. And to have a life from having limbs. If you're amongst those people who don't have limbs, then to support people with the body they have. You having the body you have, other people having the body they have. So we have different kinds of humans. Now, having mentioned that, humanity across boundaries is being learned slowly. And towards the evening, between day and night, our thought lines may be pretty interesting, depending on how's your geographical condition, your environmental influence, what you've eaten during the day, how tired you are. You may be sometimes ready to rest from the different kinds of fights you've had through the day. Yeah, sometimes you want to pluck off people limb by limb. Man, you should pay attention to your diet. If you're eating too much meat, your tolerance level will be that much low. If you're eating more vegetables, the vegetables are pummeling you from inside such that you don't have time to think about violence because the plants are doing it to you. And you will become a humane being because that's how the plants are. When you eat plants, yeah, they are doing boxing from inside so that you're standing an upright human being and working out the inflammation from your body. If you're eating non-veg, the meat does not know to do that to your body. So instead, you are angry and wanting to pummel others. Yeah. So that's something that happens. So the soul that has it in them to go up, to become healthier, reach for water, vegetables, plants. Yeah. And the soul that has it in them to go down, fight, and then anger and lose your temper, and then have a lot of healing to do, will reach for meat. It could also be your environmental influence, but if you're not reaching for water or plant, then you are maintaining the wounds in your body and in the environment. So the environment is not having what it takes to become a tropical country. It is maintaining its environmental influence, winter season. Earth hasn't been able to heal. That part of the globe hasn't been able to heal because of the cultural practices, dietary practices, how you regard your environment, how much you're in harmony with your environment, with yourself, how much of wounds you've healed, how much you're in relationship with where life came from. If you've been having a little concerns about that, then those strifes is also seen in the environment, and your country needs to heal. So you say it's easy for you to speak. You're from India. Well, India has these practices of different environmental practices too, respecting honors, honoring and respecting ancestors, those you can see, those you can't see, several such practices too. It's comparable. You would need to compare across cultures to see how the environment maintaining practices are also there in different cultures, different countries too. But your dietary practices are also part of how climate is also maintained healthy, wealthy-wise. This is something that I found in the course of facilitating original humane intelligence, meristem intelligence, which is how a seed grows through the soil, through the environment, taking care of itself, but also working with the environment such that you're becoming better, people around you are becoming better, future generations are becoming better, their future generations are also becoming better. And I am to facilitate all of this from this place in South Bengaluru, because, well, everybody have a job placement. I happen to have my job placement here. So it's like deployed. You're in a, say, civil services, and you're deployed in a particular place. So this happened to be my deployment place from where I'm to do my work and teach courses, make courses, teach. And there's always a good reason, a right reason for everything. So I have these thought lines because of several factors. All right. Nirbeeja Yoga also, well, I can't say, it's taken shape from many places. And it's like McDonald's has its masalas from many places, different batches, and then they kind of, it's said to, I read somewhere, I think so, that they then bring it together and then form the content. So Nirbeeja Yoga formed from many places, from many spheres of influence, and now I'm teaching, kind of having these lives online. All right, so it's taken some time for me to be speaking about this, but there's always a right time for everything. Yeah, the internet formed at a time when it was right for the internet to then become a little more popular over time. And now this is part of our life. Internet is also part of our life. So similarly, it's time for my work to show up. I've been having this indication since a few months. Slowly, I've been working towards it. And now I'm doing these lives. So maintaining health of the hips. Now, today I did some hooping. Today is also my birthday. I happen to start hooping also. Yeah. And I introduced hooping to a group of people. Yeah. And ladies, kids too. I've been teaching kids for some time. It's been fun. They come to play. So a little bit of kids, stutters, hooping, and then every now and then, whenever they get a chance, they come here, do a little bit of hooping. Now I was thinking it'll be nice if ladies, aunties, homemakers, mothers also do, because it's really good. So today happened to be the day when that kind of came about. Yeah, it was fun. And I got to get back to hooping after years of it. So I do on and on of teaching kids, but teaching is different. You yourself practicing is a different thing. Yeah, you can teach others, and you need not be the expert at it. There are coaches who coach people, and they become world-class players. That doesn't mean the coach is a world-class player, but they study and then can teach. But coaches are also a different class of world-class players. So, all right. Nirbeeja Yoga. Maintaining the region of the hips. That also allows for hooping and those kinds of activities to happen. If you happen to have your kids hoops or you hoop, then you would know the importance of the hips. If you don't, you have Nirbeeja Yoga, which is an ability. Even if somebody's hooping, you will come to Nirbeeja Yoga because it takes something to hoop by not hooping. On the seated chair, pay attention to the left and right sides of your pelvic girdle. That's about the region where your thigh bone connects. Hello. Shao. Thigh. How do you do? Hello? Would you please turn up the volume? Hello? Hello? Please turn up the volume. Hello? Hi, okay, I'm seeing a fist. 100%. You can hear me. Please speak. Oh, oh, come on. Okay. I got a fist. I got 100%. No, 100. And then I'm again in my room. So I will continue my talk. Yeah. Could that happen today? Now, it'll be great to see a lot of people. Now, the region of the hips. Pay attention to the left and right sides of your hips, of your pelvic girdle, the region where your thigh bone meets your pelvic girdle. That's the x-axis. If you draw a line along between the left and right sides of your hips, one line, that would be the x-axis. The direction of your thighs would be the z-axis, and the upper body would be the y-axis. Yeah. And the point where your body or your spine is maintaining a balance in your seated posture, about there, a little in between, about there, somewhere around there is the point of zero, or the balance, zero balance point, somewhere about there. Now, if you don't take the support of the back of your chair, you're more likely to notice something about this balance point between the trigonometry, X, Y, and Z. And the left and right sides along the x-axis, your hip joints, may have, okay, I invite you to bring your attention to your hip joints in terms of warmth, softness, any sense of warmth. Pay attention, any sense of warmth in the left and right sides of your hip. And notice any sense of softness anywhere about your region of your hips. And when you're paying attention to softness, try and pay attention to any sense of weight that you can feel between the left and right sides. When you pay attention to any sense of weight, you might notice a difference between how your muscles are between the left and right sides of your hips. Because sometimes we tend to put a lot of weight on the left hip or the left pelvic girdle, and sometimes a little more on the right pelvic girdle. Some of us tend to put more weight on the left side, or some of us tend to put more weight on the right side. That's also because we sometimes tend to cross our legs, in which case the left or the right side, the hip joint, becomes a little imbalanced. So if it's a chronic habit, you tend to often cross your legs, then there would be a difference in your muscle tension between left and right sides. And this is an opportunity for you to notice if there is a difference in muscle tension between left and right sides. Why? Because when you're aware of it, when you're aware of a difference, you are more likely to do something about it. No, you're likely to do something about it when you notice a problem with it. And one of the problems could be, not now, but later, you could have urinary bladder tensions. Yeah? Or worse, earlier than that, you could have left versus right brain differences. You could be more logical thinking than creative, or more creative than logical thinking. Sort of. But the left side of the body is said to be the feminine side, and the right side is said to be the masculine side, per Ayurveda and several such shastras. And if you're crossing your leg and your pelvis, your hips have a difference between left and right sides, you may not be balanced in your relationship with the male and female. males and females in your life, your own relationship with nature and nurture, your own ability to care for yourself in terms of the feminine or nature, mother, your ability to care for yourself versus father, or how you mother your own life and your health, or how you father your own life or your health. Are you your own mother and father? You need to be your own mother and father too, because otherwise you're always dependent on somebody else mothering on or fathering you, mothering and fathering you. So to that extent, you are not independent. You are not self-reliant. To that extent, your left versus right heart has a dysynchrony. And I'm naming some of the imbalances here between complementary opposites. Your equity, your appreciation of value, your ability to relate with people, how you might sometimes hoodwink people to get your work done. How clear is your conscience? How much you care about different aspects of life. How you sometimes call yourself an asshole, even if you don't tell it out loud. The clarity of your conscience. You might be working on consciousness or have certain levels of consciousness, but conscience, you may be playing guerrilla warfare with yourself, with the real truth of the matter, things you can face up to, things you can't face up to. And you may be playing lukachupi, hide and seek with your own self. Some hard truth here. Yeah. You may be veiled. There may be veils between the real self, between you and the real self, between the person and the persona. And your hip joints talks about some of these imbalances. If the muscles between your left and right sides of your hips are a little off balance. Now, I have been maintaining health of my body since some time. And today when I hooped, I noticed a certain difference until my tissue memory came on and then I started working through details. It's still there, but I still maintain health by the Nirbeeja Yoga style. And I know there are differences. Now, what about people who don't even know these differences? You're blissfully unaware. Yeah, what's there to talk about? You just happen to have little health concerns every now and then. You go to the doctor. Of course, you're there. Yeah. Or you don't have to take the responsibility for yourself. There's somebody who's trained for the matter. You just have to plonk your vehicle or your machinery in front of them, and they will do the repair. Yeah. There are so many such mechanics. There are engineers. There are body engineers. There are many kinds of people who can also 3D print body parts. You're just another piece of machinery. Yeah. Or to that extent, you are an it, like another object, like a phone or a chair. Yes? Sure. 1 minute, coming. Alrighty. Now, the region of the hips. Now, when you can pay attention to your hips in terms of warmth and softness, and you can notice the difference in tissue tension between the left hip and the right hip, how do you then bring how do you bring about a better balance between the two? For that, you would need to pay attention to the space between the left and right hips, which is occupied by a pelvic girdle. There is this space that allows for your pelvic girdle to be, and your pelvic girdle has a relationship with your upper body also has a relationship with your thighs, your lower body. And there is a left and right sides. So your hips are part of a space, like a room has four walls. Your hips also form two sides of the space. That's your pelvic girdle. That's also like a chamber. Yeah. Try and pay attention to that space of your hips, of your pelvic girdle. You are likely to notice some more difference between the left and right hip. But it may be easier to pay attention to the difference when you have the space of viability that your pelvic girdle also is. Now, your hips may pain when you pay attention to your pelvic girdle, the space of your pelvic girdle. That's because your muscles and bones may be making small adjustments to then not just accommodate, but in your awareness of the space of your pelvic girdle. So that's like when you're aware that you're not living in a tiny little cubby hole, you arrange your room in a manner that it's consistent with your awareness of space. Okay, I don't know if you have an example of this. Okay, say you're having a garden space, and then you discover you just move that one pot to the side. You can do something else with that space, like in the kitchen or in your office space, or let's say on your computer. You discover there is this space that's been occupied by several things. Once you clean that out, you know that there's a space which you can then use for other things. So when you're aware of your pelvic girdle, the space of your pelvic girdle, your tissues begin to start making these small adjustments. Yeah. To now, since you are now aware, they are also now aware that there is space. That may seem a little uncomfortable. Yeah. So there may be a little muscle tension, a little pressure, but sometimes your bones also pain. There may be a certain different kind of a bone pain. Yeah. Now, that's like when somebody pays attention to you, you have more, oh, this is also there. Yeah, and you can complain because there's a space to complain, because there's somebody is listening. Yeah. Otherwise, you will just square it, fair it, and then walk like nobody cares and there's nobody to care, and you're one person army. Yeah, I know that. Yeah. Now, you can write in your book, because that will be a space of expression, and then it'll be what all you're going to express. Yeah, get all that stuff which you'd like somebody else to listen to. Consider that space, that writing space, to be like a friend, so to speak, or your confidant, kind of. Sometimes just let that stuff out. If you had somebody to listen to you, what would you say? Just write. And once you're a little more aware of what's happening inside, like said, expressed, it may not be just a lot of words crowding in your head, but something that can be, which is then there for you to work with, than it just being bats in your head. Yeah. Or banshees in your head sometimes. Yeah. Just let it out, write it, paint it, or write it. Yeah. That makes a difference. Or use a garden space, pull out all the weeds and then plant something new there. It's quite an active. It takes something to pull out the weeds. Or go wash clothes, yeah, and not use a washing machine. Pummel the clothes and then get all the dirt out, and it's quite satisfying. Or go clean the sink. Oh, that's also something where you actually scrub it all out, or go clean the toilet. That, if that's a little thing, but once you get all your muscles worked and then you brush things out, it's a different kind of a satisfaction to know that you did it. Yeah, you actually cleaned that stuff out. Oh, that's going to be one area of your life which is visibly clean. And that space in your body, mind, spirit, soul, what are you? What have you? Has a little space you didn't know there was to have. Something is dirty in your house, something needs to be done. Go use your muscles there. Ooh, it's a very, very different experience. Oh, it's a very satisfying experience. Ooh, it's really, really nice. Yeah. Oh, that's something. You should try. There are some tricks like this, which then actually works to have your life work. Yeah. And you're not using your muscles on some people, but actually work having your life work. It's a room of your house or an area of your life, which then looks better, visibly looks better. Yeah. These are some of the benefits of normal, ordinary, harmonious living. You should try it out. More such tricks through Nirbeeja Yoga. Yeah. During normal, ordinary, harmonious living activities, you're not going and using guns and ammunition on somebody. Your house becomes cleaner and you have a pleasanter experience. And you did it. You know, that's a priceless experience. You should try it out. Only then will you know it. Oh, nothing else quite matches it. Yeah. At the right moment. Yeah. You got a whole lot of stuff like that. Your hip could be a little painful, but the sleep you get, man, you cannot pay money for that one. Yeah. Because that's priceless. Because that's sleep. And then you wake up in the morning and then you see your room actually clean. Priceless. You should actually have that experience to know what I'm talking about. That's some of the vacations I have. It's a staycation. It's a experience. You cannot describe it. Yeah. Or you'll write lots of words to describe it. But you should try that out. Oh my goodness. Your hips might be a little achy, but you're not going to the gym. In the gym, you could be lifting some weights. But through this kind of an exercise, an area of your life, a lot of emotions gets moved and you get a good sleep too. But with Nirbeeja Yoga, you're aware of the space of your body that actually becomes better. If you're having a heart condition and you're doing things consistent with your awareness of your heart condition and then you're doing activities, your heart condition becomes better because you're aware of where is the pressure, when is there any pain or discomfort, when or how much of your breath is getting short or long, and how much of force or exertion to do, such that you're becoming healthier, not becoming sicker. You're becoming healthier for sure because you're applying your awareness, mindfulness, and present moment appreciation, but also working through an area of your life, something that is not working in your life, and you're bringing about harmony, order through actual physical activity, not pummeling somebody else. It's not a person, but work that needs to be done. You do your homework, your life begins to start showing up because you're aware of your bodily composition becoming better. And those areas of your life, which that body part is maintaining health of, becomes better. It's like magic. You should try that out, only then you will know. Because the genes, which then gives rise to those body parts, the microbes that maintain health of those body parts, what it takes for you to do the activities, your emotional state, um, your spiritual state too, in a sense. Spirit is also emotions, your anger. Spirit is positive and negative charge. So when you work your spirit out in your anger or your joy or your fear or your disgust, there comes a balance between positive and negative. And you'll become a balanced, spiritual, and noble person. For sure. Try that out. On that note, I will pause for now. You should try that out because all talk and no action continues to have you be a dull person. A dull person, not adult, but adult person. Go get a life, or rather, go clean out that shelf. Read those papers before you can just tear them, and don't regret afterwards. Yeah, read those papers and then tear again. And then, attack one one cupboard, one shelf, one area of your life. That's going to be some healthier natural breathing in that room, that space. Over time, you will find new things to do in those spaces. Yeah, you never know. You might just create art or draw something, paint. Okay, I'm not even putting stuff. I've already put some stuff there. Take that also out when you're cleaning. Yeah, that somebody put some thought there, and instead of you being able to do something with that space, you're just going to take somebody else's ideas. Have that be your space. Yeah, clean it out, or paint it, or draw something and make it your colors. Um, yeah, make it your life or your space. And who has any access to that space? That's also how your hip is going to be in some time. You won't get a hip problem. Yeah, arthritis, osteoporosis, all that stuff. No, no, no. You are already bearing the weight of your life by how you're aware of your hip joints. It's going to be a few less downtime or medical bills you don't have to pay. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has been of value to you today.